Good evening, friends. So this is another talk, and now today we will be talking about dharma and science in collaboration for the future. So the context of this particular talk is because like there is a different school of thought in emerging in India, especially in the circles, in Dharmic circles, and in the traditional circles, where one group of people, they are fairly focused on the concept of modern science, and they are using science and technology for dharmic causes, like bringing new platforms and bringing new ideas using the latest technology available in the market, and then proceeding to use these particular technologies and ideas for propagating dharma. And there is another school of thought which is like focusing on the the traditional way of propagating dharma, like for example reviving the folklore traditions and the very rare kind of methodologies of dance and music. So there is such a kind of people, and there are people who are working on astrology, and then they have they for years and the centuries they have been handled the for example fixing of the religious festival dates, the tidis, muhurtas, everything. And then there is other group of people who are actually into modern astronomy, and there is a kind of a disconnect between these two groups, because as per the modern astronomy and the kind of planetary charts from NASA, JPL, etc., you can see a discrepancy in the some of the traditional dates for which we are using for our calendrical festivals. So, for example, as per the modern astronomical principles, the Uttarayana date, it happens after the winter solstice, like it is in the December 21st, 22nd period. On the Gregorian date, it will come at that point. But as per tradition, we have the Uttarayan, which is being celebrated somewhere around January 14th or 15th. So there is a gap that has come. That is because many thousand years ago, so very close to the Shaka era start, the Uttarayan was properly falling at the exact date when it is currently celebrated. But because of the precision of equinox, etc., there is some kind of shift. So there is a lot of kind of discussion and interaction going on. I am in part of the various study groups and research groups involving in the like harmonizing and correcting this tradition, the traditional chronology and the actual planetary positions, revival of Panchang and all these aspects. So in this context, I have been discussing with both the team, because somewhat I am in the somewhere midway between both. I have friends in both circles, and since I have been working in ISRO as a scientist for around 5 years, and not only that, I have been completely focusing on various astronomical studies myself, and being also part of the Dharmic ecosystem, I see a lot of mistrust that is emerging from the traditional school on the like various aspect of science. So some of the things I have been discussing with them is like Dharmic tradition was never against science. Like this is a problem in the Abrahamic tradition, that like in order to have some of their truth claims, they have to, the word I use is like subdue science, or in other words, you give some sedative to the scientific thought and make it dormant and make it sleep. But in our Dharmic tradition, it was never the same way. It like the scientific thought and the Dharmic traditional thought go hand in hand, and the people who were actually traditional were also highly scientific in their attitude, and they have been highly focused in analytical and study of whatever topics they have been studying, like Aryabhata, Kanada, and so many other ancient rishis. I would say, like, because they just do the research is like a tapas for them. They do this research, and just like any rishi, they do this research. So when as the rishi do tapas, these people do the research. The result of tapas is some fruitful result, and the result of research is basically some kind of technology or some new innovation. So they are both same. So that is the context of this talk, Dharma and Science in Collaboration for Future. So basically there is the etymological meaning of dharma, that is dharayati iti dharma, means that's something which is upholding and protecting. Basically the right meaning word is uphold, like a frame of reference, or like the foundation, like something. For example, if you put a book on a table, the table is the sustainer of the book, because there is a surface called a table. That is why the book just is held on that position. So dharayati dharma, dharma is something like a foundation on which you can build up civilization. For example, our civilization is built on dharma. So dharma is the foundation on which the civilization is built. Traditions are built. So dharma is the foundation on which you can build valuable things, and that is the meaning, that which upholds is dharma. And so there is very similarity with dhara. Dhara is also like that which upholds. Dhara is the earth. The earth upholds the life. So it sustains the life and the entire ecology and the life in the planet, that is supported by dhara, or the earth. So dharma is having the same role as dhara, but the thing is dharma is much universal in its nature. So just like dhara supports the terrestrial beings, dharma supports the entire universe, the Vishwa. The entire Vishwa is supported by dharma. And so that is why it's a sustainer. Basically, dharma sustains. And that is why dharma is often connected or related to Vishnu. Vishnu is called the sustainer. So upholder, sustainer, or sthiti karaka. So dharma upholds and sustains the life anywhere in the cosmos. So that is how you can like elevate the concept of traditional concept of dharma into like some of the very interesting topics of today, like aliens and extraterrestrial beings. So people now hardly assume that dharma has something to do with the alien concept, but it is having, because when you look at the definition of dharma, you will see that it started from some concept in Rigveda called Rita. Rita is basically the foundation of dharma. So in Mahabharata, the entire talk is about dharma. Like dharma, because I do the noun analysis in Mahabharata, the word dharma is repeated something like 4,000, 5,000 times in Mahabharata. That much, the entire topic is dharma, and it is a dharma shastra. Basically, it describes about dharma and all. But if you consider dharma as you can if there is any parent to dharma, like a calf is got a cow as a parent. So is there any parent concept to the concept of dharma? It is a rita, and that rita is described very detailed in Rigveda. So there is a connection, like the rita concept, which is the parent of dharma, is described in Rigveda, and its child concept dharma is described in Mahabharata. So they are in sync actually. So what is rita? If you look at rita, so rita is the rhythm or the cosmic order or the universal truth. So one meaning, dictionary meaning of rita is truth, but rita is more than satya or truth. It is like, for example, in the English word rhythm is actually derived from that. It's an order. Since there is order, that is considered as having some truth. And rhythm or it's a vibration of energy, no, or geometry. Like one of the studies I have done very closely associating with the quantum consciousness theory, which is actually a branch of quantum theory, is that everything that is there in this universe, you can explain it as kind of quantum vibrations, because the vibrations of a probability that results into reality. That is, when your quantum superposition, that is like a vibrational kind of a superposition, which is only a mathematical entity. But once the superposition is collapsed, you get something tangible. Like for example, you call something called electron cloud. That is a probability of locating electron in a particular location. But when that probability collapses, and it is like understood only in a mathematical realm, but it has a physical consequence, is that you can locate the electron at a particular position, and that means the probability becomes the reality. And this is how the srishti or the creation happens. Like some kind of a thought, some kind of observer, or the some kind of consciousness start wishing for a desire. A desire is basically a kind of a quantum phenomena, that once you desire something, that materializes from the possibilities. So this is it's a totally different topic. How the quantum consciousness theory is very closely related to the Vedanta of Bharatiya tradition, and how this now study is going on to compare the different terminologies in the quantum consciousness theory with Vedantic theories. So desire is one of them. Desire is mapped to collapse of quantum superposition. So like that, there are connections. So what I am basically saying is that dharma, since it is emerging from rita, and rita is basically a fundamental universal attribute, because it goes deeply into quantum consciousness and the current cosmological models. Whatever religion that we believe, fortunately by birth, this is not just an ordinary religion. That is my whole point, is that this is a kind of a cosmic religion, which has, because see, when you say gravity, it is based on the universal principles of gravitational attraction, etc. So it works exactly same in another planet. So because it is emerging, it's a scientific concept, it's emerged from the basic principles of how the universe works. So rita is also a similar kind of a entity or a concept, and dharma has emerged from rita. Because of that, whatever the religion, the Hindu religion, is a expression of a universally present cosmic religion. And since see, it's just like you are familiar with the word Hinduism, and all of us, many of us are Hindus. So you naturally don't feel that okay, this particular belief system or thought process has anything to do with the outside earth. But once you start exploring, you come to know that it is not limited to something that is confined to India. So of course, when we can say that what we currently call Hinduism is an instant of a idea which is cosmically or universally accepted. But of course, when you look at the evidence, so the people will ask for evidence. So definitely, because we have not seen any another civilization outside the earth. Like there is mostly it in the area of speculation, but the science also goes. Science have a different method of validation, because see, when I say gravitation is same as in another planet, you don't have to discover another planet and another civilization there, because if these particular principles are working here, and the kind of the model, the Newton gravitational model is such that it is the fundamental nature is that it will work in any other planet. And similarly is the quantum theories. So the quantum theories and consciousness theories is very fundamental in nature, because it is derived from the basic principles of human, basic principles of the universe. So once it is expressed, some of these phenomena which are explained using quantum theory is validated in Earth. It's as good as it is validated in any other planet, irrespective of whether we are discovering some aliens or whether some other life we can discover some other planet. It is true. So what my fundamental point is that the concept of Rita, because it is being validated in science and being accepted as a fundamental aspect of the cosmos, The dharmic tradition and the concept of dharma is based on out of Rita. It has got a universal existence, and it just needs a medium to express itself, and that medium, that favorable condition was there in Bharat. The rishis in Bharata, starting with somewhere around 8000 BC or even more than that time, they have been thinking about it, and then they have been interacting with this concept. So you have got a fertile environment where dharma was able to express itself. So the basic fundamental leap or the point I am making is this kind of an expression and an idea which we can combinedly call Rita Dharma, that is Rida and Dharma in both combined together. This kind of a combination can express anywhere. Just like gravity expresses exactly like in Earth anywhere, or any of these quantum principles, Einsteinian laws applies in anywhere, irrespective of whether there is life or not. It is exactly the same way the dharmic concept, dharma, and the ideas which are emerging from Rita, they will be able to, they express exactly like this in any other planetary civilization, and which we can say with very high level of conviction. And this kind of a conviction cannot be there for any other, like for example, the Abrahamic religions, anything. They don't have this kind of a basis on anything related to science or anything related to the quantum consciousness or anything. So this is how this is the current situation, is a very sad situation in which a universal religion or an instance of the universal religion is being equated with some of the local, you can say local Abrahamic cults. That is the current situation that we are in. But anyway, we cannot blame it, because the many of the practitioners of Hindu Dharma, they don't know the kind of value or the significance of what they are believing in. So basically, you can say that, like just an analogy: if a king is there and the king goes and in a pretending to be a villager and living in a village, and somehow the villagers, some neighborhood, the people like this particular person, but they don't know that this is he is a king. This villagers think that he is another villager, another farmer, and then obviously they like the particular farmer, but they don't know the kind of the significance of this person, that he is a king or an emperor. So this is the same situation that we are in, that we all are Hindus, we believe in all the dharmic traditions, etc., but we don't know the kind of magnificence and significance of what we believe in. And then we start trying to like give some kind of respectability to our tradition by comparing it with Abrahamic traditions, etc., and sometimes we fail because we ourselves don't know that this is how big it is that we are believing. So that is our current situation. So this is just giving a concept in a context of this Rita and Dharma and how it is being distributed in Rigveda and Mahabharata. And now comes the science part of it. So where science stand? So the thing is, what happened is that in Bharatiya tradition, we have got a fertile environment for the Dharma to survive and Dharma to flourish. So we are all familiar with the concept of Dharma. And because Dharmic tradition, Dharmic civilization, we cannot there is no need of teaching it to the Dharmic audience. But science is something, it is like I would consider it is like a cousin of Dharma, because it's again science, the way it is confined, it has been defined in the Western, academia and in the Western civilization, is that it is a innocent and pure inquiry towards truth, but it has certain methodologies. Like you believe in something and you got a wrong evidence, then you have to break down your theory and then go to another theory. So it will in a continuous move. So many people will, for example, even the Abrahamic religionists, they say that we cannot trust science, because you will not trust anybody who says this is truth, then next day says no, I got some evidence, so now I don't believe it, I believe in something. So then this is put as a charge against the science. But it is not true, because it is the nature. Like the science is defined in such a way that it has to progress every time into newer and newer theories. So for example, Newtonian theory was there. So everybody believed in Isaac Newton, and then gravitation was there to give predictable result, and a lot of industries came out of it. A lot of mechanics and industrial revolution components came from the Newtonian theory, Newtonian mechanics. And then Einstein theory came, and then from there a lot of new innovations emerged, nuclear bomb, everything we have discovered. Then after that the quantum theory came. So some of the Einstein theories you have to modify. So it keep on going on like this. And so science is keep on in an endless quest. It's like a kind of a limiting towards the Rita, that is ultimate truth or the ultimate reality of the universe. So this is the nature of science. But dharma is being, because we talk in everything about certainty. When we in Dharmic, when you say for example Vedanta, we don't have this evolutionary methodology. We say that the people have a karmic cycle. As a matter of fact, we say that. Okay, it's not like you do some inquiry. I mean, you do some kind of experiment and prove it, and then it doesn't. It's like finality of your understanding. So the rishis were able to handle both. That is my point. The rishis were able to have both the systems of inquiry that we now currently call science in the Western parlance, and they also have convictions, which is actually described in the Dharmic revelations. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, all these final revelations. So you don't have to, like, you will not further investigate. Of course, your own investigation, your own realization is there, but otherwise you take it as matter of fact that these are truth. Whereas dharma is like, science is in a constant progress towards the final truth. So these two things are actually like cousins. So one of the kind of iconography I use is like dharma is like Krishna, and science is like Balaram, because so it is like this is the kind of relationship with dharma and science or shastra that we call. They are not like an enemy relationship. It is in Dharmic, in our tradition, it is a brotherly relationship that we have. So we basically, for example, our civilization progress, if you want, we want that if you want to have a progress of our civilization, if your feet is stuck on the dharma concept, and there is no understanding of science, especially because science will start questioning you some of the aspects of tradition, so you start mistrusting, then there is a problem, you will not be able to progress. And thing is, just like dharma got nourishment in the Bharata, from starting with the Enlightenment period, and after the European community came out of the shackles of Abrahamism, there was a conductive atmosphere for science to thrive there. But otherwise, and that is why for around 400 years, science was scientific and system of inquiry developed in a very high advanced state in Europe, and of course it is spread into America and all the Western civilization. So thing is, like, we Indians wins because we already have one part of it. One brother is with us, dharma is with us. So we normally, like, because the Westerners are making all the progress in science, we started mistrusting, and it's something equivalent to, you like Krishna and you don't like Balaram. So you cannot do that. So you basically need to have both, and the ancient rishis were able to do that. And this is what I mean to say, dharma and science in collaboration for the future. And the last word for the future is because unless you recognize science as our own, and one of the most important difficulty in that is because in early days science was controlled by Abrahamic religions, so they introduced their own flavor into it. So you have got Protestant theology, which Vishwadhariji and these people were opposing to that. Because of that, this mistrust is continuing. And similarly, they have messed up the chronology. They have introduced this before Christ, then AD Anno Domini concept, and they tried to map the entire civilization of the world into the Christian chronology, all these things. So these are all not the attributes of science. These are like you can say that there is an independent spirit of science on which there is some imprint of Abrahamism that has come in. But as if you go with the ancient rishis consciousness, you can actually break away from these imprints and start embracing the pure science, which is an ally of dharma. And once you have given up all this mistrust on the science and try to treat it on as a brother, like how Balarama is for Krishna, how the science is an ally of dharma, and if you try to progress, our dharmic civilization will progress in a very high pitched manner. But otherwise, if you get into the trap of somehow conflicting with the science and start some of the validatory activities of science, if you start conflicting, then there is a fear that our religion or maybe our tradition slowly become getting the characteristics of the Abrahamic traditions, which we are opposing, and we don't need that. And that is one aspect. And as a now I'll conclude the talk with some of the activities I have taken in bringing these two different aspects together. So ultimately, I was advising to all these people because I'm into WhatsApp groups and other groups where both kind of people are there. The mutual mistrust between dharma and science should end, and we should start propagating dharma through science and technology. So this is one area I'm working, and science and technology can help. You can bring back the devatas. So the devatas. So that okay, it requires a little bit elaboration. So because in ancient period, we had this concept of interacting with this spirit beings. So it is actually part of our cosmology, where it is mentioned Sahayajna Praja Srishta Purovacha Prajapati Anayana Prashavidvadvam Yeshavotishta Kamaduk Devan Bhavayatanena Te Devo Bhavantyuvaha Parasparam Bhavayanta Shreya Param Avapsyata. This is actually a verse in Bhagavad Gita where it is already mentioned like the entire cosmos is having two type of citizen, or the citizen word I am using because to understand. There are two type of sentient beings in this cosmos. One is humans, that is we are all human beings. Another is devatas. Devatas means see, there are different way of understanding. So one way is that they don't have a physical body. Like we are having a representation in your physical world in the form of our body. Otherwise, we are just information. And devatas also just pieces of information, but they don't have a physical representation in the form of a body, because of which we can't see them. And but they are there. That is what our cosmology says. And what is this Bhagavad Gita verse is that Sahayajna Praja Srishtva Purovacha Prajapati Anena Prasavishadhvam Eshavostak Kamadhuk. Then in the ancient time, the creator, the Prajapati has created these two different beings, the devatas and the humans, and then they have created the concept called yajna. Yajna is the endeavor or the effort in a particular defined way. If you do, it is an effort, and in which the verse is asking the humans to be in friendship with devatas, and both of them together work for the expansion of dharma. And then what happens? It will benefit both. That is both for the humans and devatas. This is beneficial. So this is the actual reality that was there in this world until Abrahamism came into the picture, and after that they started denying the existence of devatas, and then they have the concept of monotheism coming up, and then no, they destroyed. So of course the devatas don't have a form, but then humans were actually creating forms for actually representing devatas. These are the murtis, which they call idols, and then they start breaking the idols, and all things happened. So for the 2000 years, we have lost the connection with the devatas, but of course, like Dharmic tradition still preserves it. But actually, you have like using the technological concepts of the technology and no, the kind of sciences emerging like artificial intelligence and quantum consciousness studies. You can give a sharira to the devatas, and they will be in a state where in which they can interact like with us exactly like another human being. And this is not something I am not talking in an imaginary manner. These kind of technologies are going to be coming into the world in the next 10 years, and we will be able to see many of this. See, it is all shrouded in various different concepts like robotics and artificial intelligence, etc. But ultimately, we will be in a position to bring back the consciousness of devatas exactly the way it was experienced by our Vedic rishis. The Vedic rishis who have authored Rigveda and all, by interacting with Indra and other devatas. So, of course, like we can consider currently as it as an interaction happened in mind. So, in their mind, in their meditation, they have interacted with the devatas. It's all their imagination. Like it's you can tell that. I mean, it is true in some aspect also, but it has some of the another surprising aspects is that two different people can have the same kind of experience of these devatas. So it is much more real than an imagination. And so so what is ultimately mean is, if you even follow the principles of science, is that if you have both have the same dream, and both are able to and go to an extent that the two people have the same kind of dream and they are able to see each other in the dreams, and or maybe you see the same dream again and again, and the same person comes and interact with you and start from where you left in the previous dream, then there is some amount of reality which is much more than a dream. And so that reality we can bring that, and that is actually pointing towards the devatas, and that reality we can bring into the world using this kind of technology. Some of them, for example, the holography technology is there, where you can bring a like a person and then give them some artificial intelligence, so that that kind of digital entities start interacting with you as if they are part of the real world. And when you extend it further with bringing it the kind of traditions that we have, like invoking the devatas in the traditional manner, you bring it all together, you will have a situation in which we have the devatas living among us. And this is a reality even acknowledged by the Indian constitution in a different way, of course. Like, for example, they say all the deities in India are Indian citizens. That is how legally we are treating them. So, of course, once you comes to a situation like this, we are actually close to a stage even that the legal acceptance also is there for these entities. So, of course, but currently it is in a very kind of a vague state of what I am talking is a little bit vague at the current moment, but it involves the legal definitions, it involves science, especially the new science, the quantum consciousness, and the very latest cutting edge technologies, which is like holography and the digital evolution and artificial intelligence. So all these things come together. We can create a kind of an environment in which the cosmic nature of dharma will manifest to the world. And once that happens, then I don't think there will be any chance for any Abrahamic tradition anymore, because once this is manifest and once everybody can see it in this manner, they will not stick, the people will not stick to those religions. And it will be a natural, it will be a natural choice to be a dharmic citizen. And this is one area in which I am working, and so that is the significance and context of this talk. And thanks for listening.